Okay, good. All right. So today we are all here to discuss about recession proofing our careers. But then with the angle of personal branding. So I thought this is something really interesting to discuss and see what thoughts everybody has. And recession proofing has become the word of the day kind of thing, right? Like so many layoffs we have been hearing, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, everybody, there are so many layoffs going on. So, and it is because of the larger economic stress that is going through. So I first wanted to understand all of your thoughts on how do you approach the concept of recession proofing. It could be your career, it could be your personal life, right? Like essentially it all boils down to the financial stress that it brings with us. So I think we can start with that, and then we can weave it into the personal branding and other angles as we move along. So anybody would want to throw some light on that?
See, first thing I will be sharing my own, probably my current situation, right? By looking at this recession and all, I never get scared for whatever reason. And to be honest, Kiran and Sudhakar, these guys know pretty much about me. I don't have any savings. Like I don't maintain stash of 6 months salary or whatever it is. I am always on the edge, right? So I'm a bad person to talk about that finance part and all. With that, I'll hand over to somebody else.
What do you think, Sagar?
Maybe
Yeah, go ahead.
something that I was actually thinking, Kiran. In some context, some time back, we were discussing about it. Rather than I don't want to restrict it to recession. I would rather say getting ready for any surprises, right?
Okay.
Because whenever we talk about recession is one surprise, one element of surprise that comes to you. Tomorrow, it may be your entire department needs to be spin off to some requirement, outside the organization, or sell it off, merge it with something, or entire department was not needed. Unfortunately, most of these I had to do in last 24 years, right, in the professional life. But so getting ready for surprises is one thing. So that is where I would say always keep your CV updated, always keep your skills updated, and have that personal branding that you were talking about, Kiran, right? Because all these are the things that you want to be ready with to ensure that there are no surprises. That
Yeah.
is one aspect. The other aspect I would say is, irrespective of what we do, the moment you are in private organizations, or to some extent even in government, you are talking about taking that risk of for the want of better salary, for the want of better increment, or for the want of better career progression. We are looking for progression at a faster pace than what you would do in a government organization, right? So if you are looking for that, you are taking a calculated risk. So be aware of the risks that we are taking and be future ready for that, is how I would say it, Kevin.
Awesome. This is a good angle that you brought in.
Maybe because of my initial 10 years with government, Kiran.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is good, right? I think we can. So I think we had a couple of others just joined. So I'll just reiterate that. So we are talking about. So we started with how do we recession-proof our careers through tough times, and what role does personal branding play. That was the theme that we started with, and then Sudhakar, just spoke about, let's say, not just recession, but it could be, any surprise that comes your way. So so one is the getting ready for any surprises by being upskilled. I think in the last session that Try hosted, we had a similar, nuance coming out, right? Being ready, being upskilled. Apart from this, what else do any of you, look at doing or thinking through? What are the other thoughts that come to your mind? Maybe Sagar or Abhilash or Vaishnavi. Feel free.
So for
Yeah.
okay, I can go. For me, recession proof means you should be able to constantly upskilling yourself, not just in your domain, but you might want to go deep in one or two subjects, which is core area, and maybe knowledgeable in multiple different aspects. Let's say that there is a concept called T-shape skill set, where you have various skill sets which supports your core skill. That way you become a multifaceted personality, and it helps in your, not only in your present career, but whenever it comes to finding next job. Another aspect of recession, being recession proof, is somewhere I heard in interview, there was a person who used to keep giving interviews even if he was not looking for any job. He just used to keep giving interviews, and that way he used to find, he had found multiple opportunities. So once in a while, every couple of years or 1 year, we should also check where are we standing in market, what is that market is looking for, what kind of skills are relevant. So that is something we should, all of us should be doing, so that these kind of scenarios doesn't catch us by surprise. And lastly, when all of us, most of us are working in private organizations, so it's obvious that the moment your role is not contributing more than what you're getting paid, you become irrelevant in eyes of management, whether they are having some financial crisis or not. So that is something we should be thinking when we are working, is what I feel.
Nice. I think similar themes emerging out. So let me bring a different perspective and then see how, you know how you guys respond, right? So I totally agree that upskilling is the mantra. Always be, on par with the latest technology, latest skills. However, in spite of being upskilled, in spite of being latest, we have seen people getting laid off because it is the economic condition of a particular industry, not just one company, but the whole industry or the market. So, apart from just being skilled, what is the other way that we could be prepared enough to face this sudden surprise that hits us, right? Yeah, go ahead, Vamsi.
Um, many many a times I have seen people actually were fortunate to get laid off in my past organization. They got the severance package and they also got the job.
Okay.
Maybe because they were upskilling. But my take on this is we tend to fight time rather being a friend of time. Like time and time changes, we also need to change in terms of maybe we can call upskilling again, but also to understand that at my level, maybe at a senior position, the clarity of the things and the kind of things I need to take are entirely different from our expectation from management. That is one thing. And the second thing is people do not give a lot of importance for second source of income.
Hmm.
I tried few. Uh, I'm still trying. Some are some are going on. Some will take off. Uh, some things which people say, how can you do that? Being an engineer, also I picked up because I know at the end of the day, the forefinger has to go not for just me, for my family members also into their mouth.
That's a great point. It's a great point. I was actually waiting for somebody to say this, and you hit the nail on the head, right? So how do you? I think I resonate a lot with what you said. The second point of giving importance to second source. So typically we call it a side hustle or whatever, right? So how does one get onto that journey? Since you are doing, why don't you share some experiences on how does one start a side hustle and what kind of opportunities can come out of it?
I want to
Yeah.
disturb here for just 1 second. And I remember you I mean, Vamshi saying there are a couple of things which you picked up and people were against you. Being an engineer, what is making you do this? I wanted to know one of it, like what falls in that category.
One was I opted for teaching in a GATE coaching center. So the because I struggled a lot to get my good marks in GATE, which anyways I did not get. But that left me. It's like you failed. Your case did not win, but you learned about law.
Hmm.
So I learned some subjects at a much more deeper level, and I wanted to teach them. So it was much more. The work was too much. They started first giving me papers to correct and all those things. It was not going anywhere, so I left it. Then I took network marketing to understand why people are so much crazy and why Robert Kiyosaki calls it the next big thing, and what MBA colleges don't teach. I went to all these the calls, they big auditorium, and everybody says that I got this much check and all those things. I wanted to first test whether it is true or not, and to my utter surprise, yes, they are. It is true. And then my not anyone, my wife herself, she told, how can you do marketing, how can you do sales? But I learned a lot. I learned rejection is the toughest thing to actually take,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
and I got used to it. So I'm
Right.
putting my son actually that first go and sell something to others.
But
I'm enrolling into the
I would say whatever you tried is a great try. Like you tried something which you did not get, and
no, but my small stint with network marketing actually is helping me to nail down my one-on-one sales pitches with people who approach me for mentoring, because I know what in which pit they are. किस
Hmm.
गड्ढे में है वो लोग, थोड़ा बहुत तो मुझे समझ में आ गया.
Awesome. Okay, good. Sarish, what's your pick on? Like, so we're trying to, understand. So at least one thought that Vamsi gave was, hey, boss, not just upskilling, we need to probably have a side hustle, which I think is resonating with most of us here. How does one get on that path? What can be done? Any thoughts you can bring onto the table?
maybe if we cannot find something of whatever we were working earlier, like even if it is lesser than whatever we used to work, I think we should be open to anything we can find for a while.
Okay. I think Saurish might be having some audio issues. All right. Can you elaborate to Vaishnavi on that point?
First, suppose I'm working in some particular domain, and then later I couldn't find a job in the same domain, but I still need money for my survival. So, in that situation, I should not stick to only one particular domain saying, no, I want to upskill and then I want to work only here. Maybe something lesser to this will also help me to survive. This is the recent learning. I'm not sure if this is going to answer your question, but this is one of the experience, I think.
Nice. Okay, good.
And I
Abhilash,
want
do
to
you have
thank
any thoughts?
the guiding voice team and three of you, like, so very much, because I did not know when I was working on LinkedIn. I still remember the days you used to text me, Vaishnavi, where is my answer? It's been 2 days I gave you. I was remembering this very badly from like 10 days now. Now, when I go on LinkedIn, I remember your team, like full team. That is
Good.
really great help.
So
Good.
being flexible for not necessarily the upward, but also for sideward opportunities is what you are calling out, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's
I,
okay.
I wanted to qualify that a little more elaborately, Sudhakar, to your point. Maybe being self-aware of your strengths and trying to use them, like how you did, like how Naveen did. I wouldn't put myself completely out there yet, but then you guys knew that, hey, we have this in us. We can go to a college, we can speak about few things, we can help others. So you bought that strengths out, and kind of made it as a side hustle, the podcasting and other things, right? I think, yeah, I totally agree. Nice. So now, so as we are talking about it, so what kind of, so is there a boundary that we should, or we draw around what kind of side hustles we do, or is it like open to anything? Like Vamsi just ping saying, "Hey, I even learned makeup," right? So is it good or bad to draw any boundary around any side hustle? Is what I was wondering. And we have other.
I think we have Sajid, if I'm not wrong. It must be
Sajid,
his son's name.
Faizan, I see Faizan joining, and
Yeah,
then
Faizan is
Deepanvita
Sajid.
is
Might be
Deepan
Sajid.
with also need can contribute some thoughts if she's actively listening. Okay. How about Abhilash?
Yeah, hi Kiran. On the side hustle, right?
Please turn on the video,
I'm
Abhilash, when you are speaking. Turn on the video.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. On the side hustle, I did try and I could not succeed in a few of them. I don't know if I am willing to share some of them here. But then yeah, what I realized was, I mean, on staying recession proof, right? I realized showing up to work every day and giving your best. That is the best I can do. And along with that, upskilling and the T, whatever Kiran Sagar was saying about. So I like to do that as well. And wherever and whenever I get any opportunity to do not necessarily within going within down within the vertical I am in, but also horizontally. For
Hmm.
example, speaking, right? It doesn't necessarily add to my profile, or I don't know, I don't even think it'll count as any brownie points also in my profile or anything. But irrespective, I thought I'd like to pick up communication and public speaking and all the no, small skills which we pick up when we interact with people that way. So I try and do that, and yeah, uh, that's my two cents.
No, I
See,
think
communication.
those are good. Yeah, go ahead, Naveen.
Sorry, Kiran. Communication is the key, right? You cannot really belittle it, Abhilash. I'm trying to be
Huh,
very straight here, right? You'll not
correct.
get brownie points, but you'll get food through communication. Without communication, nothing
Huh,
else will succeed.
huh,
Okay,
huh.
so let me correct
Definitely,
you there.
definitely.
That is one
Huh,
of the important aspect which many people lack, right?
huh,
Yeah.
huh.
Over to you, Kiran.
Yeah. No, yep.
And
I had similar thoughts. That knowing, being able to communicate.
huh,
A
huh,
lot of people, you will be surprised. Like if you go on the social media, the person is hardly 18 or 20, and then they are like, I am a coach, I am an influencer, I'm a personal branding strategist. They have not even seen what life is, right? So speaking it out, putting it out there, and communicating is extremely important, right? So okay,
and
let's hear to Saurish. I think he's able to speak now. Yeah. Did we lose him?
I feel keeping an open mind and also having confidence in yourself and the skills you offer and value you bring to the table is the key. Just
Right.
because there is a layoff, that is the what
Right.
Saurish has been. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. The other question that is going on in my mind, is and entrepreneurship. Just give me a minute, Avilash. Is entrepreneurship an answer to recession proofing?
Not really. Entrepreneurship is not at all an answer, and it all depends on. Again, I'll tie this back to your previous question. Right, you have to be willing to go sideward, downward, or anyward, unless and until you are not cheating somebody or you're not stealing something from someone. If you are capable of doing something, right? For example, today we have a lot of opportunities. Think about being a food delivery boy. Think about driving part time, right? For drive you kind of apps and all. Likewise, there are so many different opportunities, and we need to respect the dignity of labor, similar to how our folks are doing it in the other countries, but they are not keen on doing it while in India, right? So we
Mm.
have to break that particular stigma. Then definitely no recession can impact us, right? Because as long as we can definitely look at buying some time from banks for uh, uh, probably what do you call rescheduling our loan EMIs and all. But at least as long as we are able to meet the core needs, say 25, 30K or 40K, that is not an impossible task in my opinion.
Got it. I think we can go to Saurish
Yeah.
and then we'll come to you, Abhilash. Is that okay?
I think you should let Avilash go first because he had raised his hand for quite a long time,
But we
and
are
Hey,
then
we
I
are
bro.
can.
waiting to listen from Mr. Saurish for
Yes.
quite
Yeah.
Oh my
long.
God. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, sorry, there's a power cut at home, but I couldn't miss this session. So yes, and this is a very interesting and topic and close to my heart. See, while I agree with Naveen that entrepreneurship is not an answer when you are getting laid off, but I definitely believe having an entrepreneurial mindset is something that has to be cultivated. See, being an entrepreneur has got a lot to do with more than just having a flash of mind saying, now that I don't have a job, let me become an entrepreneur. Many people don't understand that entrepreneurs do not have a check waiting at the end of the month to take home and get all the things paid off. There are
Yeah.
times when there will be a lot of money, there'll be times when there'll be not a money. So yes, well, being an entrepreneur is not an option always. Having an entrepreneurial mindset to ensure that that's exactly what I wrote, that you should not lose focus on the communication skills, the values that you bring to the table, the skills you have, just because you had a layoff. Now, our generation, from our generation itself, layoff has become quite a buzzword. So I don't think it should come as a shock to anyone. The word layoff may be something new, but now being in the HR fraternity myself, I've seen a lot of people lose their job for no good reason of their own. Not everybody is an unethical person over here. But yes, sometimes the situation, sometimes there is no work, sometimes the project goes out. We have to ensure that we keep those in mind, and that is exactly what our entrepreneurial mindset is. So the layoff, I think, is a boon because it actually shows you how replaceable you are, and it also gives you an option to become irreplaceable. But to be
Nice.
irreplaceable, you have to be a lot more than just a worker and blame the company. To be irreplaceable, you need to have skill set with which you can go to the next one. And I heard Kiran speak about sales, or somebody was speaking about sales here. Everybody should be a salesman. Hearing a no should not be something that you write home, but it should be an order of the day, because only when you hear a no, that means the demand is more than the supply, and there is somebody else who's keeping these people satisfied. So when you hear a no, you know that these are your chinks in your armor, and you should feel thankful that you have somebody pointing out your mistake without having costing you for that much. So that is my 2 cents about it. Be
Well,
confident, know that good things will come. Hear no, build a fortress out of the nose so that the yes can actually come through very clear. So that is
awesome.
what I wanted to say. Thank you so
Very,
much.
very profoundly said. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Abhilash. We would like to bring your hand down so that it doesn't pain much.
Yes, yes.
I've already got it down. My answer was not on this, but on the previous one, right, where you were saying about recession. So what I was also trying to say was, along with skills and everything else, building trust with your immediate bosses and your colleagues, right? It is one of the important things which I've seen. You may have skills, but if nobody trusts you to get things done, or if there's a new thing coming, right, which you don't know, do they trust you that you will figure it out? That is a very important question to ask ourselves.
That's a great point that you brought up, and off late, very recently, I've been seeing this phenomena. At least couple of posts where the managers are coming forward and saying, "Hey, this guy, unfortunately, we have to let him or her go, but then he's an amazing talent. Would you want to pick up?" So I think that doesn't happen just like that. Building trust is a huge part of that. Now, I want to bring in the angle of personal branding. I think this is the right perfect timing, right? So yes, sure, you probably you upskill, you bring in a lot of network or the trust factor, blah blah blah. But then why should somebody pick you uh, and offer you something, and how does personal branding play a role in putting yourself out there is something I wanted to get your thoughts on.
Yeah, I think the question is why you?
Why you? Absolutely. Anybody? Like, do you guys connect with the word personal branding, or is if there are any questions? Yeah, Sorish, please go ahead.
No, I really love the personal branding angle because that is something that we should be doing for ourselves. See, often at times when we are building somebody else's brand, we often forget to look at the fact that we also need to develop our brand. And the question that you asked, why you, is the question that I have faced a lot in my career as a freelancer, also when I was employed. That people ask, why should we hire you? Why should we give you this particular assignment? Why should you be the partner for us? And I believe that that answer is something that should come from within. It
Mhm.
cannot be faked, and it has to be worked on, because if you're not giving yourself that amount of time to develop, then I think you're doing yourself and the company you represent a big deal of misfavor, because both of you are then just telling each other lies. Why you should be both? Why you? Because in sales we say that the person has to buy you first before they buy your product or your company. So
Right.
when you are going and talking to a customer or a client or a potential employer and they ask why you, they are actually giving you an opportunity to tell them that this is who you are, and that is where your skills, your values, and everything comes to a point as a as an asset. But when I ask, tell me about yourself, is yet another question which is very similar to why you, which many people don't get it. They're exhausting themselves by just talking about their last work. You should actually have a story about yourself that tells that you are somebody. So for me, if somebody asks me why me or why you, I tell them that I'm a Swiss Army knife of business excellence. I'm not a machete, I'm not a sledgehammer, because you can put me into any situation and I'll get the excellence out of you. And I think that has done a magic for a lot of time. So I think that's what I have to say. Personal branding is very, very, very important. Thank you.
Amazing.
One
Awesome.
additional point. Sorry, go ahead, please, Kiran. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Sudhakar. I think Sagar wanted to share some thought.
Yeah, I feel personal branding. Right now, we have ways where we don't really have to rely when interview is there and we are branding ourselves. We have various platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, or GitHub, where we can actually show proof of our work, what we are doing, what we are capable of doing, and that way, when opportunity comes, recruiters or people who want to hire us, they can easily look up and look what kind of work we have done in past, and that way it is easy decision for them also. uh, I've been seeing lot of people who are kind of creating their own portfolio on LinkedIn, on places or website also for that matter, where essentially they're trying to brand themselves. And I think
Mhm.
this is all of us should be doing, where whatever our area of expertise may be, we can share our knowledge or we can engage in various sessions or give talks. That way your authority is proven without a formal interview. So Seth Godin has written a book called Lynchpin. Uh, he talks about this, that in the era of internet, you really don't have to have a resume as a proof of your work. You can put your work online. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I think you also brought in a lot of good points. I wanted to get there, and you paved the way. Thank you, for that. Right. So now, how does one go about doing this? Not everybody, can do that on social media. Can go ahead, write something or whatever. But is writing alone, personal branding, or is there any other thing to it? Yeah, like I was just wondering. What I personally felt was it is about ringing a bell. Like if somebody if my name is taken, ring a bell as to what I'm known for, right? That's what I look at as personal branding. I think Vamsi wanted to say something, then we will go to you, Naveen. Yeah. You are on mute.
No, I did not actually speak.
Okay.
So before COVID, I heard these terms of digital marketing and all those things, and I never thought that I will one day get associated with this terminology and also be in thick of those things. My stagnation in job actually pushed me to talk more about myself. And yeah, as per my understanding and what I learned from my consistency on LinkedIn, uh, this is a honest bragging for sure. When I searched for jobs and I went full steam on LinkedIn, talking about what I am, the authentic self, what I feel. Um, I was not having any inhibitions. I want to call a spade a spade. What happened was, overall, over a period of 6 months, I got 28 offers. And it was a complete surprise for me also, wherein uh, the day I got my first offer, I opened my Gmail and I just searched for my resume. 78 people I have sent. Everybody said, my uncles, friends, sisters, brothers, somebody told, yes, send me your resume. And I have sent that. But nobody responded. But now I got 28 offers and I saw 78 people did not do anything for me that LinkedIn has done in 6 months. And out of that, 11, the people just told, I have seen your post, and they were talking about my post, which I don't even remember. So that in that way, I think my personal brand, being authentic and talking what I really feel, actually helped me a lot. And the first impact that I felt, okay, something is really working out, was the recommendation made by that lady to Naveen, and he conducted. He had my first TGV podcast. I mean, for me, because why I'm saying first thing, because he told Vamsi gear up for the second one when I spoke with him few days back.
Oh,
Indeed.
Yeah.
nice, nice.
So then I understood, yes, saying what you are, in a way that you don't hurt people, will definitely put you at par with, I mean, that defines like who you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What Venkat was also saying, who you
Yeah.
was, like, I am this.
Right, right, right. I think beautifully said, right? And you actually showed, that it works. So now people have a recall of, Vamsi with respect to, let's say, an embedded system knowledge or whatever it is, right? See how I'm saying this because I've seen you do that on LinkedIn. So I think you've created your personal brand that way. I think lovely. Yeah, Naveen, you had a thought.
Yeah, see, one thing from the personal branding perspective, I would like to add a different dimension altogether, because we have to cover various facets of the whole gamut of things that we are discussing here. Primarily, if you have a strong personal brand and people know your work, you'll be able to find good sponsors for
Mm-hmm.
you, right? Because sponsors are going to take you a long way. Like I have personally experienced in multiple scenarios. Okay, wherein one of my ex bosses hired me despite of having 20 25 different layoffs, 25 layoffs in a particular situation. Still, he was able to create a role for me, and that did not happen just like that, right? He has seen me work for 4 years or 5 years, and then he has closely watched me what my potential is, right? Likewise, you have to create a brand for yourself, because people in the senior leadership, right, they always keep a watch in terms of, okay, who will be the next talent, next key talent, right? So one thing I would like to bring up here is, what got you here won't get you there.
Get you there.
Always remember one thing. Since we have majority of the people, uh, at least at a first line manager level here in this group, except couple of them and all. But my suggestion is, always when you are having conversation with your senior leaders within your organization, talk to them, see how you can help them beyond their day job, beyond your day job. See how you can support. And again, I'm not telling you or recommending you to hold buckets or do something shitty stuff, something which is going to help them, okay, in their day job. That is the main aspect. Okay, don't think about being a pet to somebody. I'm not recommending you to be a pet to somebody, but how can you add value to their career, to their current job, right? That will take you a long way. That is what is exactly summarized in the what got you here won't get you there. Okay,
Got
that
it.
those are my two cents.
And thereby the organization.
Yeah.
Thereby the organization.
Uh,
When you say
yeah.
you are, aligning yourself to a senior leader,
Yeah.
you are not taking about him or her
Him or
job.
her. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Aligning yourself, because the bigger perspective that you get by aligning to that job will give you the broader vision that you may not necessarily get at that level. It is about the role and the
Yeah.
impact.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a great point, Sudhakar. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Faizan, are you there? Do
It
you want to
must be
share any
Sajid if
aspect?
I'm not wrong.
Sajid, okay.
Okay. Maybe he's in the
Okay,
listening mode.
that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Vaishnavi, what are your thoughts? Now, like you've been listening, and then you are having your own, navigations, like you've enrolled into an international course. Like, what are your thoughts on the personal branding, and how it would probably, help you or any of us as a concept, right? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't have a okay. How do I put it across? Because I know it is really important nowadays, because I started searching job here, and then
Okay.
I realized there are a lot of vacancies which I see through LinkedIn. But when
Mhm.
I apply, I don't get a response in a way what I was expecting. I can see there is something which is really important called as personal branding, but I'm still learning, so I don't have a lot to talk about it right now.
Okay, no problem. I think maybe at least the discussions are at least helpful to you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now I wanted to. So we've discussed about upskilling, how important it is, to be relevant, and then slowly we went into um, the personal branding area, wherein and the side hustles. We spoke a little about entrepreneurship. So there were ideas saying that may not be exactly entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurial mindset is what is extremely important. Um, what's the importance of networking, in this era of layoffs and recession, right? Like, how do you guys see networking as a tool, is something I wanted to understand. I personally see a lot of value in it, and the current job that I am in, um, uh, I was able to pick the boss because I know the person, right? I was happy doing my job in Cognizant, and then this offer came through. And then when I checked, okay, where is this offer? Who's the hiring manager? I already knew the person, and then I connected, and went through the series of interviews. But then that networking made it much more easier. So, what are your experiences? And what are your thoughts on networking, and how should one build this skill set? Anybody? Abhilash? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I think Abhilash unmuted. We can listen to him and go to Vamsi then. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually reach out whenever I read posts on LinkedIn, right? What I try and do is I reach out to them saying, "Oh, I saw your post here and I'd like to connect with you, know more about you." I even go to their profile. And if I see them growing through, say, an analyst to a vice president, right? I usually try and ask them, I see you did that, so congratulations. And if they're usually posting about starting a new career, right? I wish them best of luck and that they do good in their careers and with a personalized message, not what comes by default on LinkedIn saying, Wish you best on your new role, something like that. No, not like that. So I try and do that. That's how I do networking. I don't
How
necessarily
is
know
that?
how
How
it
is
has
that
helped me.
helping you? Let me stop you there. How is that helping you? What difference do
Yeah.
you see by being personal?
So being personal, yeah, I can tell you one instance. It has not helped me, but I reached out to a product manager who was there in Apple earlier, and one of my colleagues was working in our teams. So she said she wants to go into product management. So the person I knew in Apple has a coaching business of herself where she coaches people to get into product management and all that stuff. So I asked her, I have a colleague who is going out of our company and would she do a pro bono or even something say for 500 rupees? Her minimum thing was some 5,000 or 10,000. I don't even remember the number. So I asked her if she can do it for 500 or anything. I just want to say this is going to be my farewell gift to her who is leaving the company. That she wants to get into product management. If she can get a call with you, just a 1 hour call or a half an hour call, it'll be a good thing for her. So she agreed just based on the fact that I had interacted with her earlier on her product management posts or just like that saying, oh, this is a nice way. And whatever she was talking about product management in general doesn't necessarily relate only to product management. It also related to general leadership and general corporate professionals working. So I used to keep in touch with her, and that's how it has helped me. Not necessarily personally for me, but it if I asked a call for myself, I probably should do that too.
Nice, nice. Vamsi, you were raising your hand.
Yeah. So, so network is net worth, but I never understood that
Okay.
because I have so many followers. I mean, I'm getting followers, and I followed many people. How many people really remember me, and how many I can on a regular basis connect? I really don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
but there are some relations and some connections I am very much intentional about to keep them always green. And
Okay.
it's like remembering the telephone number before having mobile phones.
Right.
Naveen puts a post, and wonderful post, sometimes his opinions and all the things. So there are some posts that they resonated because the first thing in the morning I see, oh, this was very good, and I make it a point that I have to react on that. He told, right, it's not like holding bucket, but yes, I owe it to him. And yes, I tomorrow I can reach out to him for any queries related to my podcasting or other thing. There are few connections like that I feel to be very sacred, and I want to do my due respect to that, due respect and duty towards them. And one of the examples, this person, I appreciate him so much and I respect him so much. And he told, once the job is there for you, when are you going to join? Which I told I can't join because it's too far from my home. You know
Mm.
what he told at the end? It's okay, Vamsi, I understand. We can be friends. And his is a company that is that already has 40% of domestic market and 20% of international market in vehicle telematics based out in Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
Still today, his company puts some posts. I say and I comment something, I like and all those things. So that's what I feel when we say network is net worth. Maybe because we have to keep that connections always keep kicking, that we
Okay.
say that I am there for you, then these relations they will reciprocate when you are not having good days.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
Just one point, Kiran.
Yeah.
When we talk about networking, guys, let us not see it only from the pane of glass of social networking. I think somewhere we are just little drifting towards it. Social networking is one aspect of it.
Mm.
You having, see, Kiran and Naveen, I don't know, when was the last time you both were in the same company? 7, 8 years back with
Yeah.
GE?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still you are in touch, not on LinkedIn, but connection. So for me, the networking for me is the job that you are doing and the connections that you make and the maintenance that you have. See, there are some personal connections, friends. There are some professional connections who are ex-colleagues, may turn into friends. There are some who are absolutely at, the professional level only. However, we can use the social media or, in the current world, Signal or WhatsApp to be in touch. Not necessarily in a social forum where everyone can see your transactions, but that is also another key. For me, that is more effective way of being in touch.
Yeah.
So just wanted to give that perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not against social media connection, guys. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying. What I'm saying is, let us not restrict it only for that component.
Correct. And I think Sudhakar, you mentioned a very, very valid point. See, I think some of you are aware. Yesterday, I was at Bhubaneswar attending the conference, and I was talking to one of my friends. Okay, her name is Devi Shobha. Okay, we will invite her shortly to these discussions also. In fact, it's not even 6 months that we met, but the kind of conversations that we have are completely at a different level, because we wanted to start some businesses, and the reciprocation that is being seen and all, right, it is completely different, and it did not happen just like that. It connection happened through Durga. Likewise, if you look at all the chain reactions that is happening out of this platform and all, right, so that is truly commendable, and it is not restricted to saying that, okay, I'm not tagging somebody or I'm not commenting somebody. That if you get into that mindset, you'll not realize the full worth of network. And there are many of my friends who are silent admirers of my posts, and I get some personal message saying that, hey, you do a decent job on LinkedIn. The way you are branding yourself is amazing and all. Okay, so like that is one part of it. And second part, what Sudhakar has mentioned about 5 years or 7 years since Kiran and I have parted, right? Parted in the sense we are working in a different company, but it doesn't mean that, okay, you are not supposed to talk to each other and all. And even if Sudhakar and I talk, right, it is as if we have spoken just day before yesterday. That is how our conversations will be there, right? That is that is the crux of actual network. And when it comes to what GE has offered as a company, I know I boast a lot about GE when people might be fed up and all, but if you look at people that are part of TGV volunteers and all, right, at least 30% of them are my GE colleagues, right? And they the way they encourage, right? If there is some milestone episode, or if there is some mention somewhere and all, they feel as if it is their accomplishment, right? That is what matters to us, and we have to take it to a next level. Don't think about networking as transactional. Okay, you help me, I help you. That is not going to sustain for long. It is all about building and nurturing those relationships, and that will not happen in a day, right? That will take time. And when it comes to networking with strangers, that's altogether a different ballgame. In fact, I couldn't get help from any stranger, but I have been helping to so many people as a stranger. The only thing we have to focus on is, when you are actually working, if you are seeking help from strangers, first start helping strangers. Pay it forward. Then one fine day, all the positive things that you have spread, right, it will come to you. Because when Sudhakar and I started podcasting, people laughed at us. Why the hell are you guys spending that much of time? Are you guys making money and all? Right? But we had a strong vision. We had a strong purpose. And if you look at how the platform has grown today, everybody is proud of it. Right? 300 episodes in the span of now 2.5 years. The kind of connections that
Consistently
we
2 episodes minimum every week.
right. So that is what people watch, right? People watch us, and that is what matters. So pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward. That's the only thing. Then things will come back to us.
Great.
By the way, guys, we don't want to make this an advertisement channel for TGV, but one update: TGV will get into Hindi and Punjabi pretty soon as well. So just
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah, Punjabi and Hindi. The first episode is already done in Punjabi. Hindi, Naveen has bigger plans. I don't want to spoil, steal
Yeah,
the thunder there.
yeah.
So, but
Since
yeah,
you brought into the fore, let me update you on Hindi. Okay, so Hindi we recorded first and second intro and first episode yesterday in Bhubaneswar.
Mm.
But anyway, this is for the core team, but you will see the formal these things.
Amazing.
Sure, but
Right.
Punjabi
So,
as well. Yeah.
yeah, and this, I'll spill the beans here. For Hindi, we had Sangeeta joining from Hyderabad, and Parul was in Bangalore, Sucha was in Andaman Nicobar, and I was in Bhubaneswar. Right? And we have been contemplating about recording last month and all, and it has been indefinitely getting postponed and all. I asked them only one thing, guys, give me commitment for first two episodes only. Later, I will take it. That's it.
Yeah,
Uske baad mein I'll start interviewing and all, because my intent is their voices should be there in the first episode because they have been contributing to it, right? Likewise, and the other day I told Sudhakar, take complete ownership of Punjabi, because that is how, right, we have to divide and conquer now.
right,
We have to
right. Yeah.
divide and conquer, then we can make the platform bigger. In fact, yesterday I was looking for volunteers from for TGV Odia as well in Bhubaneswar. There were so many hands raised and all. So likewise, let us expand it to all Indian languages. Maybe we'll become the first platform in India which is present in all languages, right?
Which is
Likewise, our
amazing.
vision, right?
Very, very inspirational. Very inspirational. Awesome. So I'll bring a twist to this
Yeah.
conversation, right? So we've been talking a lot about us, like all of us, blah blah blah. What's How serious are you guys, about investing and making, and having some peaceful nights even in a recession kind of area? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you invest actively? Are you considering investing? Like, how do you go about it? Because that is also, I feel personally, one of the key ways of making sure we don't lose our sleep or the financial aspects, right? So let's hear some thoughts of, do you think it's important? If yes, what are you doing about it? If you don't think it's important, why? Yep, go ahead, Sarish.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important. And the only problem is we have very less good information around. The person to give us a practical information introduction is very hard to find. You have a lot of people saying invest in mutual funds, but nobody tells you which mutual fund you should invest in. And then when you've invested the money, like somebody told me very early in my career to invest in some life insurance. That person very conveniently forgot to tell me that the lock-in period is 36 years, which means I should be in my 80s or 85, if I'm not mistaken, before I will ever able to see the money. So
Mhm.
that is not a good way to go about doing anything because it doesn't do anything for me.
That
So
is true.
it
That
is
is
important.
awesome. Okay. Yeah, anybody else? Sagar, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel it is very important, since uh, it's like nothing is permanent and nothing is certain. We need to have certain minimum amount which we can say as a emergency fund maybe, and
Mhm.
certain amount of our income should go to investment. If you're not sure about which funds, you can always go for options like maybe index fund, where it will certainly grow over the period of let's say 5-10 years. That is something we can do. I personally invest in mutual funds, around 15% of my income, which automatically is managed by Scriptbox. So they suggest some funds and I invest that. uh, yeah, because it is like too much at stake. Once you're married, once you have kids, you
Mhm.
need to have certain cushion. Even if something happens, you have certain time to gather everything and then restart. So that is very important and all of us should do that.
Good, good. I'm glad, there are two yeses until now, and there is no until now. Okay.
I don't think we will have no.
We will have
Maybe some
I
of us.
really like the 15% also, Kiran. The number is also there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's actually, I've always seen this, right? You have to be disciplined and structured when it comes to financial planning. Unless we do that, it really becomes very difficult. And I'll give you one example, my own example, right? Like, I started my career way back just out of college with 3,000 rupees. as a salary. Somebody just said, okay, come, we'll give you some job. A very small company. And then I graduated into an next job, about 10,000 bucks, and then it became 25,000 per month. So kept growing, right? But as I kept growing my finances, my desires also kept growing, so my expenses started growing. So I went in bus, then I picked up a two-wheeler on loan. Then I wanted a nice phone, so I picked up a phone on loan. So the way things transpire, right? Like as you grow in your career, as you gain more money, I'm sure we add those desires, and so you effectively don't end up with a lot of money on hand. So having that financial discipline, to be able to think about future, at least like couple of years, or at least 1 year, if you don't have anything on hand, you still survive, is a very good and very important thought in these days, especially because we're seeing so many times this layoffs, bubble is coming. The economics conditions continue to be stressed, uh, be it Russia war or anything that is contributing to it. So I think it's really important. Right. Anybody like anybody else, like Vamsi, what are your thoughts? What are you doing? You don't have to really share a lot of personal info, but anything like script box and 15%, I think that's a good input, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I did a little bit of setup. Now it is in monitoring mode. So first set
Awesome.
up something which is, and then maintain it so that we don't know when things go bad and we may need that amount.
So was that mutual fund kind of setup, or like what do you mean by setup?
Mix of
Mix of
mutual
fund.
fund and some market direct investment in market.
Okay. Awesome. Right. Vaishnavi, what are your thoughts? I'll keep bringing you into the spotlight. Yeah.
I don't mind you bringing me in this hot light, but the question is, I am still at the beginning stage. Like, I just started earning. Of course, we need savings, but I got no good thoughts on this right now. Like,
So some.
whatever discussion you guys are having, it is all new to me. Like, I'm just starting my career, like restarting the career. So
Yeah.
I think I'm taking the inputs from the discussion, but I don't
Yeah.
think I have a lot to share.
Good. No, I think that's important too, listening and grabbing the. So as the example that I gave, right? Like I started with 3,000 bucks. I went to 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, whatever. But then my desires kept going, because
Your
at that
demands are
stand,
unlimited.
yeah, because at that standpoint, I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. I was like, oh, what the hell? Let me go buy a bike. Let me go buy something else. Buy this, buy that, all of that. But then you realize after a certain point of time that, okay, you know what, we don't have, like today, if the job goes, then I'm on the road. That fear is what makes recession scary. That's my take, right? So if we are able to plug that hole, if we are able to uh, tell ourselves that, hey, you know what, if somebody asks you to go today, doesn't matter, you're covered for the next 6 months, 1 year, whatever. You have time to look for a job. There is nothing to be scared of. That mental peace is worth some thousands of crores of net worth, because that's exactly what is driving people nuts. That's what is driving the whole chaos in the industry. That's how I am looking at it, which is why I brought the investment angle also into the discussion, right? So any other thoughts? I think we spoke a lot of things.
Yeah. I'll add my 2 cents on the investment, though I'm not a good investor, okay? Because I'm a real estate guy kind of thing. I like buying properties. I don't maintain liquid assets. That is probably one of the bad things which I'm doing. But I don't know. Probably I'm one of very few people who is always willing to take risks and all. Even at times I don't carry my wallet and I just go on my bike or car and all, right? So some of that particular confidence is there, nothing will happen. Karte. Likewise, I'm moving with the same attitude in the life also, but however, that is not good thing to follow. Okay, so, that's a word of caution. And second thing is one philosophy which I learned from someone. I don't remember the source and all. What they said is, savings are not what you make after you spending. Savings are what you have to plan before you spend. Then only you'll be able to save. Because many a times what people do is, okay, if I get this much of salary, I'll go and buy a home. If I get this much of salary, I'll go and buy a plot. Right? That will never ever happen. All the youngsters in this group, remember that. That will never ever happen wherein you'll have excess or surplus funds. Saying that if I have 1 crore cash in hand, I'll buy 2 crore property. That is not going to happen. Just go, take that risk. If you have
Yeah.
even 20% or 30%, go ahead and build only if you're confident about it. Okay, that is how I
Yeah.
manage. But when it comes to liquidity, if you're completely into real estate and all, it is not that easy. If at all you need money direly and all. But one thing is, since we have some high limit credit cards and all, I at least get into that assumption. At least I'll have 40-45 days buffer in case we get stuck also, right? Likewise,
Mhm.
that's the leap of faith assumption which I believe in.
Nice, nice. So when you said, don't think that when I have a 2 crore, I'll buy. But so if I'll tell you a funny incident, and this was at least 8 to 10 years back. I was getting my car seats done in a shop. I was just sitting there, and he was doing those. Two people were talking. One, the guy who was doing the seats, and the other guy, his friend. There is a very famous villa community where close by to where I stay. It's called Palm Meadows, right? So it was at that point of time, it was really good. Even now it is good. A lot of expats live there. So this guy was like, भाई मुझे उधर विला लेना था, वो बोला 2 crore. Then this guy says, then I went back because I didn't have that much money. So I made 2 crores ready, and it took me close to a year. And then when I went back, अभी 4 crore हो गया. तो फिर से वापस जाना पड़ेगा. you know, so it's actually a sad reality of middle class life, right? Though it sounds funny. So that rings when Naveen said, I could correlate to that. Any other thoughts anybody has about everything that we spoke till now?
Maybe one point, Kiran, because the moment we talk about recession and personal branding, at the end of the day, we are talking about how to ensure that our life does not get negatively impacted with the something worse had to happen. Okay, one point I wanted to say is they say this, right? There is never a bad time to start a good thing, right? And Vaishnavi, you were saying that you just started. Good for you, because now, unlike 25 years back when Kiran or I started our career, where we did not have someone to guide us like this. Now, luckily, you are in a company of people who, in Naveen's words, not good at what they are preaching, right? But at least you start early and ensure that your friends and your surrounding people who are in your surrounding know. The sooner you start, the better. And there is never a perfect time to start it. You want to start today. 21st of January 2023 is an awesome date to start something good.
Yeah.
Because
And
for the want of the best time, we always postpone, and unfortunately, like Kiran said, it never happens. That
that is very
that never happens.
that is very true. Yeah.
There is never a best time that we aspire for. The moment, if it comes to your mind, just do it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I have taken a lot of decisions which turned out to be positive. Be it enrolling for masters or buying certain things, so many things. The moment it comes to my mind, I do it. That is the secret of my success in a way. And one other aspect on the savings part, what I have learned, especially from my elder sister, like the moment there is an increment, okay, salary increment happens, her savings also get increment. Earlier, if she saves 10,000, right, she saves 12,000 going forward. That is one strategy. Of course, again, I'm not following that. I'm very bad at that. I only try to find alternate source of income just to balance the expenses that I try to create and all, right? So right now I'm in dire need of money. I find some opportunity where I can make 5,000, 6,000, just like that, not through gambling or something. Some short term assignment, something comes, and if you always tell to the universe saying that I need money, then opportunities will come. Personal
Awesome.
experience.
Go ahead, Vamsi. Yeah, go ahead.
Recession, when you started it, it's a consequence of economic and situations beyond our control, but our physical health is in our control. So
Totally.
despite all the things, if I have my back aching, I cannot do any other thing, because there's a difference between chronological age and biological age.
Correct.
So I am 41 chronologically, but I am 24 actually in my biological age, because
Wow.
I can run 10K. I trek. So it depends like how we keep our mind and body fit. As Naveen told, the language matters, the pain and troubles that this is a quote that I saw when I went to Lower Tank Band, Swami Vivekananda, that Mata, right?
Mm-hmm.
So uh, Mother Sharada, she says, difficulties are like those waters flowing under a bridge, and they are bound to flow. But until that time, we need to hold ourselves physically and mentally intact. So I have seen people very bad experiences wherein, because of getting laid off, they took some extreme steps also. But
Yeah.
a sane person who is mentally and physically strong knows what to do. So putting
Mm-hmm.
our health, physical health, and in Vemana right? If people are aware, there's one poem that he writes. Even if a lion which is not stronger, if a if a meager, I mean, if a mean dog comes and bites it, also it feels the pain. So the lion has to be lion,
Very
Wow.
nicely said. Very
because
nice.
for gender equality, a lioness has to be a lioness.
Great. Awesome. And probably they don't have the complexities or additional, genders that we have. Right. So it becomes easy there. All right. So I'll try to, take a sum up of what all we spoke, right? And we'll probably, wind up. So we spoke about recession proofing. We spoke about how we should bring in the aspects of networking, entrepreneurship, a side hustle, why personal branding, like how can you use personal branding to put a safety net to some extent, and most importantly, in spite of all of this, how investments are really important, keeping all of these aside, and investment as another side of the equation. Investments are also equally good, and how they will safeguard you on a rainy day. And lots of good conversations, and there are some very key profound thoughts that I was noting down, right? Like when we spoke about networking and social media, so Sudhakar brought up a great point, which Saurish also reinforced. So networking on social media is not what networking is, but then networking in real life, being in touch with people, and being part of their life, is what makes the difference. I think that's a very important one. Network will then become net worth. It is not the number of followers that you have on a LinkedIn's or an Instagrams or a Twitter's, because they're they're just there, not adding any value, and probably they're not even there when you need them the most, right? So that's one. And then personal branding related, develop your brand, develop the you. What is you? So there are different mechanisms to do that, be it to what Vamshi said, be it constantly posting some relevant things that know about on any social media platform of your choice, be it Instagram, be it Twitter, be it LinkedIn. Opportunities do come. There are lots of people doing content creation today, which just needs you to have some creative set of mind and a good English, and then you start writing posts and people look at it and then they come to you and say, hey, can you write on my behalf, can you write for our company? So people are earning on content creation a lot these days. That's a side hustle, right? So there are many ways in today's economy. I think we should not be worried about recession proofing ourselves. There are enough opportunities. I think we should look at how we can take advantage of all of these. So that's pretty much, I think, what we all discussed. Any other thoughts? We can talk, or we can call it a day.
No,
Yeah.
I have a question to everyone.
Sorry, go ahead, Naveen.
Yeah, Sudhakar. So I have a question to everyone. How many of you are willing to be a Uber driver or a Zomato delivery boy or Dunzo delivery boy or a Rapido captain or whatever it is? Raise your hands. Question is very straight.
I wanted to share one experience on this.
I'll give you a chance. So he said
Yeah.
only Abhilash raised the hand. Now let me repeat my question. Right now you are being sacked and you don't have savings and all you need is 500 rupees, but there is some petrol in your bike. Okay, and how many of you are now willing to be a Zomato delivery boy or a Rapido captain?
Sure, absolutely.
What is the difference?
So the second case is a compulsion, right? Like you
Right.
don't have a choice.
I'll tell you. Given a chance, I am willing to do that if I have time, because that is where we can be recession proof, right? So over to you, Sudhakar, and then Vaishnav, you can take it from there. Sorry about hijacking that.
Yeah, only one point. Someone initially was mentioning, I think it was Vamsi. Way back, maybe 23, 24 years back when I started my career, one of my seniors mentioned this to me. Naveen, you and I talked about it many times. I will mention it again for the benefit of everyone.
Right, yeah. In fact, I
Yeah,
resonated with it.
Yeah, exactly. So the same point that you guys were mentioning. I joined a government organization, remember? Way back in 98 when I came out of engineering, I joined a government organization, was there for good 8-9 years before moving into Motorola, okay? The first thing that senior person mentioned is, Sudhakar, I don't know what I will teach you, but remember one thing. Always keep your CV updated and ensure that you attend at least one interview per year. And my immediate reaction at that point of time, of the 85, 86,000 people, I was one of those selected 37. This guy has something against me. Otherwise, who suggests that keep your CV updated and keep looking out at least once a year for a government employee? But what that person was telling me was, ensure you baseline your skills are in demand with the market requirement and identify the gaps, and that use to upskill yourself. Be staying current and relevant is what my boss at that point of my was mentioning. So my suggestion is, even though we were talking about the recession part, we were more looking at how to ensure that we are staying good with organizations alignments and all. But please understand, of the 12,000 people that Google fired yesterday, not everyone is a bad performer. It is a strategic decision. Maybe a business unit, some business units, some criteria they used. So don't think that they are not relevant and current. But the point is, the moment Google gives that pink slip and gives you, the relieving benefits, you should be current and relevant so that someone in the market, when they have an opportunity, they give you the position. That is one. The second aspect, Not everyone is Google. Not every company that fires is Google to give you 6 months salary, 2 months leave, blah, blah. No, there are many companies in India where you are shown the door with hardly 1 month salary or something, especially if you are a smaller company. So please understand, when we are talking about this, whomsoever is listening to this, after this recording gets posted, we are talking about scenarios where we are staying current and relevant. The best way, yes, Vamsi, absolutely. 2 hours time with zero money, absolutely. So the point I'm making is staying and current is important, but don't use that to hedge and go and threaten your boss, because irrespective of recession or not, the moment your boss feels comfortable, you will be the first person out. It's a two-way street, guys. We need to be professional. We need to ensure we are staying current and relevant. We should look at our suitability to the job market. At the same time, be professional. Not every second day we can't go with another offer and say that match it or I leave. That doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way.
Amazing.
And sorry, Kiran, one more point. Since we have to, I'm trying to ensure that this covers whole of it. If you are a manager and if you are supposed to offer this exit letter or the termination letter to an employee, right? Be empathetic. As Sudhakar mentioned, right? There might be few hours difference or few days difference, right? Don't think that this is the last day and this is the last day of your relationship. So make sure that you are empathetic and be as much transparent as possible, and also promise them, like saying that do your bit in terms of contributing to find them a good job or offering some reference or whatever it is, right? So that will be my humble request to everybody who is at a leadership position and are issuing these termination letters during the time of layoffs.
Sorish, go ahead.
And be respectful.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to fortify what Naveen was saying. I want all of you guys to watch the movie Up in the Air by George Clooney. That's exactly what the movie shows about the firing process, but the way a human can never replace. I mean, a machine can never replace a human. That empathy part of it is what was actually which comes out very strong at the end of the movie. So everybody who's in a leadership position, please watch Up in the Air by starring George Clooney. That movie will
Yeah.
give you a perspective on fighting humanly and helping out people. So
And
that is all I have to say.
what are the words that you should not be using? Because he says fire me, and you remember
Yes,
that scene, Saurish, where he
yes,
says you
yes,
can't say you are fired, you can't say you
yeah,
are fired, you can't say you are laid off,
yeah.
you can't say you
No,
are
and
letting you
all,
go.
yeah, and in fact, one of the most important scene is the one where he's talking to this guy who's been in the company for about 20 years and he gets fired. And the guy goes through the CV and says that, you're minor in culinary. And the most important statement that I love, he said, how much are they paying you to stop dreaming? That is your salary. A company pays you a salary to stop dreaming and work for them. So, and that word stuck with me. How much are they paying you to let go of your dreams? So, that's all I have to say. Sorry, Naveen. Sorry, I hijacked your talk.
No, no,
No,
no. That's great. That's great.
great thoughts. I think had a fantastic, lively, and good conversation. Everybody participated. Really loved it. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Naveen, for the
Very
one.
thoughtful questions and
Thank you,
very well
Kiran, for
organized.
hosting it. Amazing
Kiran,
session.
I was hoping that this will be at this level, and you in fact exceeded the expectations.
Thank you.
Great
Thanks.
job, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
good
Bye
evening.
bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. See you all in the next edition.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you. Thanks,
look
everyone.
forward to it. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.